Miranda. Miranda.
Don't focus on my face when I say the beginning. Gotcha.
Sit down so I can ask you.
We're going to get up and actually walk over there, okay? A lot better.
Okay, so, see, I'm recording right now.
Yeah.
Okay, so I hit the pause.
Civics 4th period skit.
Directed by Christina and Betsy.
And written by Christina and Betsy.
Claire Forrester is 5'4" with blonde hair and blue eyes. Her parents are Sarah and Michael Forrester. She has lived in Bell all of her life, and is a high school student at Bell Gardens High School. She was a straight A student, but soon started making the wrong friends that didn't care much about grades. Soon she began skipping school, and then just started not to go out at all. She thought that it wasn't important, and that it didn't matter if she was gone, as long as she came back eventually. Hanging out with her friends caused her manage her habits to bad ones, instead of good ones, that she's always kept. Since she has always stayed around her friends, her reputation was tainted. They had dragged into their group, and she had started developing their characteristics. This has caused her to fall out the favor of her teachers, and has ultimately led to her receiving the charge of truancy. Now she is due report to court to appear in front of a judge and jury, who will decide her sentence. She hopes that she will be let off lightly, but no one can guess what will happen inside the courtroom, although it is highly unlikely that she will go back to the way she was before she had met her friend. Alyssa is 5'5" with brown hair and blue eyes. She had lived in Massachusetts up until she moved to California. She always had a passion to study law. She had always loved to read and watch criminal stories and had one day hoped to become an attorney, so she could help the people who most needed it. She went to Harvard and graduated with a master's degree in criminal justice. She is always very focused on her work and always does her best to make sure the defendant has a chance of winning. Alyssa does not get along with spoiled or snobby people. She thinks that those who are more entitled to something just because they can have it are annoying and tries to avoid them at all costs. Ways to give them a way to be unburdened. She's only a bit competitive and thinks of winning a trial as a way to give that person another chance. A way to give them a way to be unburdened by the thought of being guilty. She is very ambitious and will take on any case that she is offered. After reading all the evidence in Claire's case, she decided to take it. Believing that Claire wasn't fully at fault, she hopes that she can help Claire win and give her another chance. Matthew Vargas is 5'7" with brown hair and blue eyes. Like Alyssa, he had always had a passion for crime shows and learning about the law in general. He also received a master's degree in criminal justice and knew that he wanted to become one of the best attorneys in all of California. He is very competitive and hates to lose a case. This is why he tries to come up with all the possibilities, while still being fair, of course. He also believes that everyone should get a fair chance. He has been on many cases and tries to get every justice in the end. He is very compassionate about his job, but tries not to let go of the subject of the case, affect or influence too much. He always feels guilty if his side loses or if they get too harsh of a sentence. He always feels guilty if his side loses or if they get too harsh of a sentence. He is a very kind person towards others but gets annoyed easily. He hopes that he will win this case and justice will be achieved for everyone. He also tends to get nervous at small things, such as not being prepared adequately. Judge Carly Reeves. Judge Reeves has been a judge for almost 4 years. She has seen lots of cases and knows how emotional a case can be. Depending on the subject, she is rumored to be one of the most strict-looking and toughest judges. She had grown up in a family that didn't have a lot of money, and she saw people getting beaten up or taunted all the time. She became a judge because she wanted to help and keep dangerous people off the streets. Although she is strict, she believes everyone should get her fair say. She took this case because she believes that both sides have something to say. Although she would like to always determine guilty and not guilty, she knows she can't because that is the decision of the jury, and she decides to not let the case's subject, no matter how sad, get to her. She always hopes that everyone has everything in order, and they are ready to present. She also hates lazy people, and people who don't help anyone. But themselves, she always tries to do the best that she can for both sides. Justin Cruz. Justin Cruz has always been a troublemaker, from blaming things he did on other kids to taking someone's possessions. He did it all. He is a senior at Bell Gardens High School, but was hardly ever there because he skipped so much. None of the kids at his high school or teachers liked him. He never did his work and always made fun of everyone. One day, he met Claire Forrester, and he thought it would be fun to mess with her. He started to taunt her, and she grew irritated. Finally, he decided that there is enough of her being good. He decided that there was going to influence her to skip school. He also thought it would be funny if she got in trouble. She didn't believe him about how fun skipping school was for a while, but then he started teasing her, and soon she started doing it. She believed that it was her friend and started slipping into the habit of not caring about anything. This didn't bother Justin one bit.
It is the morning of May 22nd and the Bell Court is open for trial. This morning's case is the City of Bell, California versus Claire Forrester. Charged with truancy, the 16-year-old was demanded to appear in court. Presiding over the case is Judge Carly Reeves, a judge that is known for being fair but also tough. The members of the jury have already been let in and everyone has already been seated. Both sides are eager to state their case and get the trial underway.
All rise for the Honorable Judge Carly Reeves. You may be seated.
Is the defense ready? We are, Your Honor. Is the prosecution here?
I am, Your Honor.
Prosecution may now declare an opening statement.
Thank you, Your Honor. Your Honor, counsel, ladies and gentlemen of the jury, my name is Matthew Vargas, and today I am here to prove that the defendant, Claire Forrester, is guilty of truancy. I will prove that the defendant knew what she was doing and yet skipped anyways. Thank you.
The defense may now make an opening statement. Thank you, Your Honor. Your Honor, counsel, ladies and gentlemen of the jury, my name is Alyssa McGuire, and today I am here to prove that my client, Claire Forrester, is not guilty of the charge of truancy. I will prove that she had a legitimate reason to be out of school. Thank you. Prosecution may now call their first witness.
I call Abigail Wade to the stand.
Please raise your right hand. Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
You may be seated.
Miss Wade, what is your occupation?
I'm a secretary at Bell Gardens High School.
What are your duties as secretary, Miss Wade?
I keep track of the attendance of the high school students.
How do you keep track of that attendance?
I keep it in a book.
Is this your attendance book, Miss Wade?
Yes, it is.
Let the court recognize this as Exhibit A. According to this book, how many days was Miss Forrester absent without an excuse?
Exactly a week.
During this time, you received no calls explaining Miss Forrester's absence?
No, I didn't receive any calls during the week concerning Miss Forrester.
No further questions, Your Honor.
Does the defense wish to cross-examine? No, Your Honor. You may step down this way. Prosecution may now call their next witness.
I call Sebastian Weaver to the stand.
Please raise your right hand. Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth?
I do.
You may be seated.
Mr. Weaver, please state your occupation.
I'm a true officer for the City of Bell.
What were you doing at the Forrester residence, Mr. Weaver?
I was at a checkup after she had been gone for so many days.
Did you hear or see anything unusual while you were there?
I heard loud music playing.
Thank you. No further questions.
Does the defense wish to cross-examine? No, Your Honor. You may step down, Mr. Weaver. Prosecution may now call their next witness.
I call Jeff West to the stand.
Please raise your right hand. Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
You may be seated.
Mr. West, how do you know the Forresters?
I'm their neighbor.
Did you see Miss Forrester at home during the week?
Yes, I saw her in her home.
What was she doing when you saw her, Mr. West?
She was dancing and singing to really loud music.
No further questions, Your Honor.
Does the defense wish to cross-examine? Yes, Your Honor. Mr.
well.
Action.
Mr. West, how well do you know the Foresters?
Not very well. I've only met them once.
Then what were you doing looking in Miss Forrester's window?
I heard loud music and I wanted to know what it was.
Thank you. No further questions.
You may sit down, Mr. West. Prosecution may now call their next witness.
I call Justin Cruz to the stand.
Please raise your right hand. Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth?
I do.
You may be seated.
Mr. Cruz, how do you know Miss Forrester?
I go to school with her.
What do you say your relationship is with her?
She's a friend.
Have you committed acts of truancy before?
Yes, I have.
Has Miss Forrester ever expressed any interest in skipping school?
She did before.
What do you mean by that?
She didn't care for it now until I told her how much fun it was.
I see. Were you with Miss Forrester at all during the time she was gone?
Yeah, I was.
No further questions, Your Honor. I see. Were you with Miss Forrester at any time when she was gone?
Yeah, I was.
Were you with her when she was listening to loud music?
I was with her.
No further questions, Your Honor.
Does the defense wish to cross-examine?
Yes, Your Honor. Mr. Cruz, you have admitted to committing acts of truancy before, correct?
I skipped before.
You also admit that you influenced Miss Forrester to skip school, even though she had no past preferences for doing so.
Yeah, that's right.
Thank you. No further questions.
You may step down, Mr. Cruz. Does the prosecution have any more witnesses?
No, Your Honor. No further witnesses.
Very well. The defense may call their first witness.
I call Sarah Forrester to the stand.
Please raise your right hand. Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
You may be seated.
Mrs. Forrester, is there a reason why you didn't call the school?
Yes, I have a reason.
Could you please explain what that reason was for the members of the jury?
Remember in the morning, my brother had just died, you see. It was a great loss to us.
I'm sorry for your loss. Is there any way that you could have called the school? Did you forget to?
Well, you see, we didn't have enough money to pay our phone bill, so they shut off our phone services. So I couldn't phone the school.
Why didn't you ask Mr. West to use his phone?
I didn't want to do that. Don't you know how embarrassing it would be to tell a man who's practically a stranger you couldn't pay your phone bill?
I suppose it would be embarrassing. Thank you. No further questions.
Does the prosecution wish to cross-examine?
Yes, Your Honor. Mrs. Forrester, where, may I ask, is your husband? When do you want to be here?
Objection, Your Honor. Irrelevant.
Sustained. Please rephrase.
Is there anything going on between you and your husband that would cause your daughter to act out?
There's nothing wrong. My husband can't be here because he's out of town, working.
Don't you know, Mrs. Forrester, that a child is not allowed to drop out of school without being a certain age or having a parent or guardian signature?
I do know that, however, as I said, I couldn't phone the school.
Also, if your daughter was mourning, why were you listening to loud music and singing?
Music is something that my daughter enjoys. If that makes her feel better, then I'll let her listen to dance to it all she wants.
No further questions, Your Honor.
You may step down, Mrs. Forrester. Defense may call their next witness.
I call Anthony Osborne to the stand.
Please raise your right hand. You swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
You may be seated.
Mr. Osborne, you're a friend of Miss Forrester, correct?
That's correct.
Could you please explain to us what she was like before she was absent?
Sure, she was really nice and she always had the best grades. She'd never do anything bad. We were best friends.
At what point in time did you notice that she started changing her behavior?
Maybe when she started hanging out with that senior, Justin. She really didn't care about getting in trouble when she was with him.
Thank you. No further questions.
Would the prosecution like to cross-examine?
No, Your Honor.
Mr. Osborne, you may step down. Prosecution may present their closing statement.
Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, I find Claire Forrester to be a girl who is easily swayed by others. This is very dangerous and advise you to think all about all the dangers that can happen if someone more dangerous then Mr. Cruz influenced her to do something. Also, her mother wouldn't think of her child's education over her own pride. I am confident that you'll find her guilty.
Now the defense may present their closing statement.
Thank you, Your Honor. Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, I showed you that this young girl, who had never been in trouble before, was influenced by an older student into not caring about what she did. I think that you will find Claire Forrester not guilty of the truancy charge. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, it is now up to you to decide whether the defendant is guilty or not guilty on the grounds of truancy. Thank you for paying such close attention and for being here today. The jury is now excused to discuss.
We have, Your Honor. We, the members of the jury, find the defendant not guilty by reasonable doubt.
Very well. Ms. Forrester, you have been found not guilty of truancy. Court is adjourned.